Good morning, student. In the previous class, we are discussing about elastic collision. In elastic collision, student, the kinetic energy was conserved, and as the rule, momentum was always conserved in every collision. Today, student, we will discuss about inelastic collision. Inelastic collision. Now, student, again I will quote one example, student. Suppose, student, I dropped a ball from a certain height, and while falling to the earth, it gains certain velocity. Say it gains velocity 12 meter per second. So after colliding, again if the ball reaches to the same height, this means it gains it restores the same velocity which was before collision. Okay, in that case it was elastic collision. But generally what happens is when you drop a ball towards the earth, suppose I drop a ball and it gains the velocity 12. It may be that when it is returning back, it does not come up to that height. It only retains, say, 10. From 12 it becomes 10. So this is the retaining capacity of that ball. How much velocity is it is retaining. Some others, the ball made of some other substance may retain some other velocity. Some ball will retain some greater velocity. Some ball will, greater means the same velocity, not greater. And some ball will retain some less velocity. Okay. So are you getting what I want to say? Suppose once again I am example, student. I am dropping a ball, and after from a certain height, it is falling on the earth. Say it is falling with velocity 8 meter per second. Now when it is bouncing back after colliding, it may be that it attains up to only 6, means some energy is lost. I take some ball of some other material. Again from the same height I have made it fall to attain the velocity 8. Now that ball may come back with velocity only 5. So that retaining capacity is different. To distinguish this term, we have a word in physics, student, coefficient of restitution. Coefficient of restitution, denoted by E. This is different for different object. Now, student, in elastic collision, we have seen, student, the relative velocity of separation, which is given by V2 minus V1, student. This is, student, this is not equal to relative velocity of approach. Relative velocity of approach. So here this constant comes, student, coefficient of restitution. This becomes is equal to E U1 minus U2. What is U1, student? Velocity of the first body before collision. Velocity of the second body before collision. Velocity of the second body after collision. Velocity of the first body after collision. So this E is defined here, student, V2 minus V1 upon U1 minus U2. It is a ratio, student. This is relative velocity of separation, and this is relative velocity of approach, student. So if the collision is elastic, student, then the value of E is 1. And if the collision is plastic means, student, the body after striking, after colliding, it sticks to the colliding object. It does not separate. In that case, for plastic collision, student, the value of E is 0. And for inelastic collision, student, this value of E lies between 0 and 1. This point, student, you have to remember. So for, student, inelastic collision, one equation is this, student, and the second equation is the supreme equation which I said, student, the law of conservation of momentum. This will always hold, student. M1 U1 M2 U2 is equal to M1 V1 plus M2 V2. These are the two equations, student, for inelastic collision, and two unknowns are there. Value of E will be given to us, so you can solve it to find out V1 and V2 as in the, student, in the previous method. So you have to note these values. Okay, student. This is about inelastic collision. Now, student, let's till now, student, the collision which we are studying, student, that was a linear collision. Linear collision means, student, see, See, this is the object first, and here is the second object, student. M1, M2. Okay, student. So when this object starts moving with velocity u on this side, it collides. So student, force acts along the center. This applies force along this direction, student. So as a result, what happens is, this after collision, they start moving in the same line separately. This is student linear collision, student. This is linear collision. Okay, student. This is both the centers. Force will act along the center at the point of contact, student. Now, student, suppose there is a one path here. This is the mass m1. This is the path, student, of this. Now, student, see, when here there is another object whose center is here, m2. Now this object reaches here, whose center is here. Now this is the point of contact is little below, student. So now the direction of force will be along this side, student. This is the force, student, the direction of force. So what will happen is, this object will move along this side. Now, student, Newton's third law, this will apply force on this along this side. Now, student, this was having velocity along this side. Now, see, this force can be, this body was having velocity this side. This force can be divided into two components. This is against the velocity and this is perpendicular. This will reduce the velocity and perpendicular component will change the direction of motion. So as a result, student, what will happen is, this after collision, this ball will move in this side and this will go somewhere this side, student. This is M1, this is M2. This is known as, student, oblique collision. So here, student, what happens is, the line of their relative velocity is different from the line joining the center of the two bodies. The line of their relative velocity is different from the line joining their centers. This is the case of oblique collision, student. Okay, this you have to remember. Here the line of relative velocity is same as the line joining their centers. So it is a linear collisions. So this figure I will draw it again, student. This is one object of mass m1 moving with velocity u1. Here somewhere the second object u2, mass m2, and after collision, student, as just now I told you, this goes this side. This is the actual starting line of motion and this goes somewhere along this side. This is m1, student, say, and this moves with velocity v1, this moves with velocity v2, this is angle I am taking phi1, this angle is phi2, student. Now, student, in this case also, student, if it is elastic collision and momentum is conserved, but student, you have to remember momentum is a vector quantity. So I will divide this velocity into two components, student. One is along this v1 cos phi1 and for this v2 cos phi2. Similarly here, student, v1 sin phi1 and this v2 sin phi. Now student, I will write the law of conservation equation of momentum along x-axis. Law of conservation of momentum. So the equation will be student m1 u1 plus m2 u2 along x-axis. What is the momentum after collision? So it is along x-axis student. So m1 v1 cos phi 1 plus m2 v2 cos phi. Similarly along y-axis student, y-axis there was no momentum before collision, 0. This is upward direction student, m1 v1 sin phi 1 minus m2 v2 sin phi. This is one equation. This is second equation student. One more equation student we will get. This is we are discussing about oblique collision student. One more equation you will get student, that is of kinetic. This is the first equation student. This is second, and the kinetic energy equation student. Kinetic energy equation for elastic, you will get equation student half m1 u1 square plus half m2 u2 square is equal to, kinetic energy is not a vector quantity student, half m1 v1 square plus half m2 v2 square. Third equation. So student, three equations we are getting student, but unknowns, how many unknowns we are having, you just see. v1, v2, these are unknown student. Then student phi 1, phi 2, they are also unknown student. So 4 unknown and 3 equations. So with these 3 equations, all the 4 cannot be solved student. At least we have to give one values known. Then only the equation can be solved student. So this is about the oblique collision student. And this is I have taken elastic collision. Oblique elastic collision. The same case we can write about inelastic collision, but in inelastic collision student, this kinetic energy will not be conserved. So you will not get equation of kinetic energy in that case student. Now student, one more collision which was there student, that is plastic collision. Let's write equation of that also student. Plastic collision. So plastic collision student, the momentum conservation. How it will be student? You will write m1 u1 plus m2 u2, but since it is plastic, after collision they will stick together. So final momentum will be student m1 plus m2 into v. So there is always a loss of kinetic energy student. In this case, how much is the loss student? How you will find out? See, half m1 u1 square, this is kinetic energy before, minus half m1 plus m2 v square. This quantity is a positive quantity. So there is always loss of kinetic energy student. One numerical which comes on this basis student, this is the equation this C, and this is one block, some mass is say given 5 kg, and see this distance, this length from the center 0.5 meter it is given. A bullet having mass say 0.01 kg and speed 500 meter per second. Okay student, it strikes this and gets embedded. So this block rises to a certain height. How much is the height gain? So how will you, this is an example of plastic collision student. So how will you solve student? See. Student, energy before, kinetic energy student. How will you find out, student? Half mv square, or I am writing, student, half this, I am bullet, I am taking m1, this is m2, half m1 u1 square plus half m2. Now, so here the conservation law is followed, student. Law of conservation of momentum. Now see, momentum before, how much? m1 u1 plus m2 u2. This will be equal to m1 plus m2 into v. Now, student, this mass is given, speed is given, this is 0, student. It is at rest, block is at rest. So it will become m1 u1 is equal to m1 plus m2 into v. So you will get the velocity, student, combined velocity you will get. Okay, student. Now this system velocity you came to know. So this system will attain energy, student, kinetic energy. How much it will be? Half m1 plus m2 v square. Okay, student. Now this energy, student, as it goes up to here only, and suppose it stops, suppose. So this converts into potential energy here. So this will equate it to, student, m1 plus m2 gh. Now see, student, v you will get from here only, h you can find out. So this is how, student, this kind of questions can be solved by the application of the various laws, student. So this is about, student, collisions. Now, student, in this chapter there is one more word, and that is, student, power. Power is the, student, rate of doing work. Already you know it. Rate of doing work. Work upon time. Work done is force dot displacement upon time. So power, student, we have another formula, F dot V. Dot product of force and velocity, student. Unit of power, student, already you have learned in lower classes. Unit of power, SI unit is, student, watt. And 1 watt, student, simply means 1 joule of work in 1 second, student. Student, in when you buy some machines from the market, student, in that machine say motor, in that power is written, student. Suppose, student, the machine which you brought from the market, in that machine the power of that machine is written, suppose it is written 1200 watt. So 1200 watt means, student, 1200 joule of work per second. And you bring this motor at your home, and from that motor you are raising the water. So that water is raised to a certain height. But, student, when you find out the work done by the motor for raising that water to a certain height, you will find that power work done in a particular time per second. You will find that power which motor is actually giving, it is less than 1200 watt. So what I want to say is, student, remember the power which is written on the motor or the machine, that is the input power actually. This signifies input power, student. Means you have to supply this much of power to that machine. That is the meaning of that. And this power which you are getting, calculating after that, that is output power, student. And remember, for any machine, output power is always less. Output power is always less than input power. Always it is. And this, therefore, for finding out how much less, student, we have a word known as efficiency. Efficiency. It is given by ratio, student. Output power upon input power. Suppose efficiency of a motor is 60%. That means this ratio is 60 upon 100. Output power upon input. From this student you can calculate either of the power in the numericals, or output power, input power is given, you can calculate output power. How much that machine will provide output. For example, the machine you brought it here, it is 1200. So here I will write 1200, so output power, student. Output power will be given by 60 by 100 into 1200. 720 watt. So output work per second obtained will be 720, not 1200. Because there is no machine which can convert all the power given into the work. This is the theory behind it, student. In certain cases, student, the power, this formula is also used when the velocity is given, student. So you can directly multiply the force with velocity to get the power which is used. Say you are sloping up by the help of a cycle and you are moving the cycle with certain velocity. So you can find out the force there, student, and you can multiply it with the velocity. You will get the power, student, of in that case. Okay, student, today only this much. So today we have learned about inelastic collision, and also we discussed about its different implication and also the plastic collision, student. Okay. Thank you, student. We'll continue next time.